All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here for the Fengyun Dota 2 tournament. It is, of course, the last best of three of the night. It is Tongfu versus ForLove here, game number 2. Thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Summit. My name is Maud, and with me tonight is Baseskip. How are you doing, sir?
Doing very well, and you?
Cannot complain. And I gotta say, though, man, you talked about the draft for Tongfu being an issue over the past couple of days, weeks even.
10 seconds
and
remaining.
I think it's very evident in that past game how their draft went for
5
Tongfu. And
seconds
really, they
remaining.
just got shut down early on by ForLove, so.
Yeah, I just think the
Time.
people are not picking Lone Druid for a reason. And it's not even that the,
Team
like,
ban.
Lone Druid doesn't even really fit into fast push
Tongfu's
strategies
turn
anymore
to
either.
ban.
Like, yes, he's still a good pushing hero, but we're really starting to see, you know, Pugna and Death Prophet and even a little bit of Shadow Shaman here and there. And I guess just with the changes with the armlet change, the Lone Druid just doesn't suit anymore.
10
He's just
seconds
does. I mean, we talked at length about it in game 1, but yeah, it looks like Tongfu are
5
struggling a bit. And
seconds remaining.
Mu is actually going to be drafting for this game, so Tongfu mix it up.
Reserve
Yeah,
time.
and this is the sign of a struggling team wanting to get a fresh opinion on what's going on with the draft. And so Zhou is, I guess, giving the reins up to Mu here, and he'll see if he can grab a decent draft going. And it's important to note that this is a big game for Tongfu. I feel like if it doesn't go their way, we may see some changes in the organization. So with Mu drafting right now, they've got to get something going to get further on, of course, down the line. Now, it's important to note that Tongfu or ForLove, whoever wins this series, will be going up against Speed Gaming International, who do have that walkover win during today's matches. So that's not an easy team to play up either. Speed Gaming, coming off of their MLG Columbus victory, they've played a little
Radiant
okay in the
team
past
pick.
couple of weeks in China, as they are there now. But, you know, we'll see what they can do up against a team like Tongfu or ForLove. So with that being said, we're going to move forward in the draft right now. The Alchemist ban, the Bristleback ban, going out for Tongfu. Not, you know, too unbelievable to see. Bristleback being banned, you kind of question it maybe. I don't know if it's necessarily first ban material. I guess it is. I don't know why I'm questioning it now, considering how much we've seen of it
10
today.
seconds remaining.
But still, good stuff so far for both teams.
Yeah, and we'll see what
5
ForLove go
seconds
for. As we
remaining.
talked about in the draft for game 1, they do seem to prioritize the Weaver quite a bit, but actually we're going to see some
Tongfu's
Timbersaw, and
turn to pick.
we haven't seen as much of him as I would expect over the course of the last 2 days. Mo, what's your take?
I love this hero, man. I really do, and I think that's why I was kind of questioning the Bristleback ban, because you leave the Timbersaw up and open, and it's kind of a lot like OD was a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but you know, a couple of months ago, and how strong he was. I feel like Timbersaw is in that area now. He's still
Radiant
obviously
team
had that
pick.
Chakram nerf where the mana increase has, you know, been an issue, plus the Timber Chain nerf where, of course, you don't just keep Timber Chaining even if you get stunned or whatever happens there. So Timbersaw is still a very strong hero and works well in the off lane. He works well in the mid lane. Not quite as potent in the mid lane as he used to be, but still very good. The Nyx Assassin and the Rubik coming out from Tongfu. We saw how good those two heroes can be. Very effective pickups coming out for them, and Tongfu want to see what
10
they can
seconds
accomplish with it.
remaining.
Yeah, and I think really nice heroes to have against the Timbersaw as well.
5
He
seconds
suffers
remaining.
quite a bit. I mean, you just mentioned that he got a bit of a mana tweak recently, and so he's going to suffer a little bit more from the mana
Radiant
burn
team
as well.
ban.
And ForLove, well, I guess to help remedy that a little bit, they are going to pick up the Crystal Maiden. So no huge surprises in the draft so far. I guess worth mentioning that
Tongfu's
Tongfu do have the
turn to
option to
ban.
either run the Nyx Assassin as a support, or they can just run in towards mid or off lane if they would like to. And ForLove, interestingly enough, get rid of the Sand Kings. So looks like they're anticipating a mid Nyx as opposed to a support.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and that's important to note. You know, I feel like Nyx
5
Assassin
seconds
mid
remaining.
could be an issue to deal with, because you get that, of course, level 6 up very quickly. You
Reserve
become
time.
more effective in ganking, and we'll see if they do that. Obviously, we have a lot of time and
Radiant
picks and
team
drafts and
ban.
what have you before we get there. They do ban actually the Night Stalker route, so
Tongfu's turn
that's
to
a mid
ban.
here that they want to take away. Actually, it doesn't have to be a Night Stalker mid. It could be really anywhere, but still. So the Crystal Maiden, I was going to mention it. Yeah, that does help the mana issues for the Timbersaw if he has any. So Arcane Aura has been a very effective passive for Crystal Maiden, and really that
10
hero has
seconds
seen a
remaining.
renaissance of play. I mean, a couple of months ago, no one would touch that hero with a
5
10-foot
seconds
pole. Now Crystal
remaining.
Maiden's the go-to, support hero in this drafts, or excuse me, this patch. So
Reserve time.
not too surprising to see these heroes be picked up right now. With Tongfu, they have that telekinesis. They've got Nyx Assassin. They'll want to be aggressive early on, but Timbersaw Well, he's a proponent of very aggressive play, so we'll see how the styles clash. Tongfu go for a lifestealer.
Radiant team
I don't mind
pick.
it.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I'm not so sure if I'm sold on ForLove's bans, really. Like, yes, okay, I guess if they're
Tongfu's
angling for that
turn
Weaver
to
that they
pick.
do play a lot, the Night Stalker ban makes some
Radiant
sense,
team
but
pick.
they kind of just banned the heroes that they played in the previous game. I guess they're fresh in their minds, but ForLove take the Weaver, and the almost immediate response from Tongfu is to grab the Storm Spirit. So really nice pickup for them.
Yeah, it really is, and I think that the Storm Spirit, once he gets his Orchid up, should be very effective against the Weaver. And I say once, and it might not even get to that scenario if it's anything like last game, but still, Storm Spirit should have some decent farm.
10
He should be doing
seconds
okay in the
remaining.
mid lane. He should do just fine, and to take down that Weaver with that pull,
5 seconds
he's a very
remaining.
strong ganker, and he works well in the early game as well once he gets his level 6 up and running. So, and it's another
Reserve
thing, it's
time.
another vehicle for the Lifestealer. So Storm Spirit ball lightning around, Lifestealer infests out, and just like that, you know, damage is done, people are killed, and heroes are pretty much out of there. So we'll see what Tongfu can combine up with that in terms of their last hero, probably an offlaner, more likely than not. ForLove, they've got a bit of, they need a support right now, and probably a mid lane hero considering Timbersaw is generally in the offlane 99% of the time.
Yeah, I think this was already going to be a pretty hard game for the Weaver up against the Nyx and the Rupig. Like, Tongfu had already laid the groundwork. Yes, it's nice to have against Lifestealer, but especially with the Storm Spirit added on top, this is going to be really tough. And we might even see Weaver working towards a fairly early BKB. I think otherwise he's just going to have a lot of trouble. And I guess ForLove at this point maybe wish they hadn't banned out the Night Stalker. Could have been amazing against both the Lifestealer and the Storm Spirit, but they're gonna have to try and get their hands on something else here.
Yeah, there's a couple of other options. We actually saw a lot of like Doom play, and there is room for that Doom to be around. He could even be played as a 4. It was played a lot not too long ago, and picked a lot as well. So if something happened where people didn't want to start picking it anymore, ForLove, they're going to go for the Dragon Knight instead, and a hero that really is aggressive. So I like the fact that they have the Dragon Knight and the Timbersaw together. I feel like that amount of burst damage is insane to deal with. The Lifestealer will be okay from it if he's raged up, obviously, but that's, you know, that may not happen in certain extents. So I do like the draft of ForLove, despite the fact that you have the Storm Spirit and the Lifestealer and just good damage altogether from Tongfu. I do like ForLove's draft a bit.
Yeah, and it gives them that other option. So if the Weaver starts to get locked down and he's having a lot of problems, well, you can still rely on the Dragon Knight to maybe carry out the game. And they can get away with the Dragon Knight pickup. He's not going to suffer too much against the Storm Spirit over at mid lane. And yeah, I think it's just a solid pickup overall. This might even start pushing the Storm Spirit towards maybe buying a BKB, which just because of the Dragon Tail, which is something that he wouldn't really want to do otherwise.
10 seconds
that
remaining.
Would probably... would that come before or after?
5 seconds remaining.
I think he still just needs to go for his Orchid or his Bloodstone, whatever he's buying first, and then maybe move towards the BKB a little bit later. If you ask any Storm Spirit player, nobody wants to go for a first item BKB, and I think if he gets it first, there's not that much point. Tongfu is still going to be waiting for a couple of items on the Lifestealer and probably a couple of items on whoever their offlane is before they're really heavily 5-manning and really heavily pushing. So,
right. Well, we will see how it goes here. As the draft is about to complete, the last bans were, of course, the ban from Tongfu and the Nature's Prophet coming up from ForLove. They don't want to have to deal with any split push, plus the TP and the Lifestealer bomb, the Prophet bomb, if you will, as it's called. So Tongfu don't have that option available to them, but they have an option here of an offlaner, is what it should be, unless they want to send Nyx into that offlane, which happens from time to time. That hero can go there and do okay there with Spike Carapace. He's able to survive. And Pale as well gets him out of trouble sometimes, but I'm more inclined to believe it is going to be some sort of offlaner. And a hero that, you know, is valued very highly in the Western scene, but really never picked in Eastern Dota is the Bounty Hunter. And I know it's probably not going to be that this game, but like it's very interesting just to see the different playstyles. So they still have 34 seconds. What are they going to pick here? They go for a Chen, so it actually might be an offlane Nyx assassin.
Radiant team.
I'm pretty sure ForLove just go for an aggro try now. The Dragon Knight's not going to lose 1v1 against the Storm Spirit. The Timbersaw is going to demolish whoever is on the offlane, and ForLove have a pretty convincing aggressive tri-lane so far. Crystal Maiden's a powerhouse, and Weaver's not bad either, just because it's probably going to be Rubik and Chen as opposed to Rubik and Nyx, and that means that they probably don't have enough combined lockdown to kill the Weaver in a tri-lane versus tri-lane. So I guess the one option for Tongfu is that they can roam the Rubik and the Chen away and sacrifice the lifestealer, but I don't know. I think if you're ForLove here, maybe you just go for the aggro try. And 5400 loves Disruptor. I think they sometimes pick it in situations where it's not that appropriate. However, this is definitely a game for Disruptor.
Yeah, it really is. Do you think they go for an aggro try with this Disruptor now? Looks like they are. I mean, it looks like that's what they're doing. So I guess that question is answered. Well, anyways, we're gonna jump into the game. And so far, Tongfu, they've got a rough road ahead of them. If they do take this game, then they've got to take another one to win this series. But of course, they are on the edge of elimination here in the Fengyun Dota 2 tournament. Of course, there's been a lot of chitter-chatter, buzz about Zhou and what he's going to be doing and how he's been playing. And Tongfu as a whole just needs to figure things out. And hopefully this game leads them on the right direction. So, on the side of Tongfu, Zhou will be on the Life Stealer. We'll have Kabu up on that Nyx Assassin. We're going to see ZSMJ on that Chen. The mid lane Mu will be on the Storm Spirit. And down bottom for now, Sansheng is going to be the Rubik, but he's just roaming down there to maybe ward. He's already made his journey. Of course, you can see it's a nice little lane ward here. And then he'll just head back to the top lane. And why don't you go ahead and do the side of ForLove.
So very quickly on ForLove, your aggressive tri-lane is going to be comprised of 5400 on the Disruptor, Stan the Man on the Crystal Maiden, Yim is going to be the Weaver. Matching up against the Storm Spirit on mid, we have Fan on the Dragon Knight, and we have Pretty Haw handling the Timbersaw, making his way down towards bot. And Zhou already in trouble to start things off, scouting the rune, but I think he might just die here.
Yeah, they need one Shikuchi, but the salve comes out in time. He will stay alive. That rage helping him out so much. He almost went down. He does have to use the salve, but still, to save his own life, he is actually going to head home now because he took one more last hit before the salve was going there. So I think that, you know, a nice play from ForLove to send him back already, and they're actually going to roam. The Dragon Tail goes on Mu. He's got to go up to the high ground. He gets frostbitten, though. A lot of damage already on Fan, but it doesn't matter. No breathe fire. The right click's going. He did salve as well. He's got to back away from the static remnant, but how is Mu going to get out of this situation? Stan going to look for a frostbite. He's got mana for it. In about 15 seconds, the static remnant might cancel that clarity. It will. And wow, Mu actually may survive. He's caught, though. He's pincered in right now. If he goes through the river or the jungle here, Pretty Haw might come in, but he's got no whirling death. There's no way they can get this kill. So close to 2 kills for ForLove, and they just can't pick it up.
Is Kappa going to give him his salve? Okay, yeah, he is. That's still a lot of lost time for Mu on mid lane. The other problem is, I guess, the Dragon Knight also lost a lot of health. Almost dies to the Satyr coming in as well. But
that's Shockwave. Wow. So yeah,
at least his bottle's already here, so he's at a pretty big advantage, despite ForLove only just barely missing 2 kills at the start.
Yeah, and like you said, it made room for the other heroes to at least get some experience, roam around, get some farm as well. They actually roam the CM in the jungle right now, and she's buying stuff. It looks like she's just going to go kill herself to the neutrals. So Stan will buy some things, TP up into the top lane. He's going to actually put that GG branch in the ground and go ahead and throw the clarity up there. TP up into the top lane. Now the aggressive tri-lane is finally underway. Top rune, Fan was looking for the regen, but a skeleton goes ahead and denies it from ZSMJ. He's actually got a nice stack here as well. We'll see if he can get towards a Wildkin. He actually's got it right now, so that tornado is going to be coming in very soon. That's huge for him this early on. It's going to get him a couple levels, as well as some nice gold on top of that. But down bottom, look at what Pretty Haw is doing against this Kabu Nyx Assassin. He's got a lot of farm, sitting on 14 last hits. Kabu's only on 5, again, getting shut down on that offlane Nyx Assassin. So a rough game so far for the Nyx. And Radiant's Courier will go down. I'm not sure what happened there. I don't know who it was going to, but meanwhile, Sansheng in some trouble. He's going to get frostbitten right now. The Thunderstrike should grab the kill here, and that is first blood going down for 5400. Zhou, open wounds on Stan, taking a bit of damage. He wants Stan's body, but he really can't get to the glimpse. He's got to go through as well. Frostbite went up. Zhou about to go down himself. Just too aggressive for the Lifestealer, and Tongfu lose 2 just like that, even though they get the Courier.
Where is that courier anyway?
Well, I'm not sure. Stan's gonna go ahead and deny himself again, surprisingly enough. So.
If you just click on a Radiant hero.
Yep, press 2.
Click your courier hotkey.
Yeah, that's 2 for me.
And then double tap the
yep,
portrait.
There it is, right there.
Let you have that.
So
okay,
it looks like Moo just kind of long shot it somehow. Something happened there. Fan just wasn't paying attention to it because I mean they were both rather close in the mid lane. So Moo just got the better of Fan there, and Fan probably just mismicroed it, unfortunately.
I would have done it myself, but my courier hotkey is one of the fog hotkeys, and I haven't rebounded it, so I can't actually do it.
Yep. Yeah, no, I understand that. And those fog hotkeys are very useful, so always nice to have as well. And so for right now, ForLove have, I don't know if they have, I mean, they've denied both of the kills that are going the way of Tongfu. I mean, it was the Crystal Maiden just dying twice to neutrals. But they still actually don't have much of a gold lead. In fact, the gold is even right now. The experience is also even, despite some kills going the way of ForLove. They haven't really shut Zhou down. I mean, he only has 13 last hits compared to the 14 of Yim. The big thing is the jungle farming Chen right now. ZSMJ is level 4, and a lot of that comes from the camp that he stacked, and he did get that Wildkin early on, so that gave him a lot of levels. Now they're going to go ahead and smoke up, look for mid, but also here is going to be the CM. Stan is sitting right around here and just maybe trying to help out Fan, looking for a Dragon Tail, and you can see, no, don't do this, Fan. He sees what's happening right now, the telekinesis, he's got Breathe Fire. There's going to be a stun coming out from the Centaur Conqueror. He's very tanky, Test of Fate, but that is going to be the kill going in for Moo right now, and so he was aggressive, waiting for Stan to help him out there, but unfortunately that was his downfall as he ran right into the telekinesis of the Rubik.
Yeah, and things looking alright for Tongfu. ForLove haven't actually had this tri-lane up top for more than a couple of minutes in this game, so I think it's a bit of a problem. I think they could have just had that tri-lane sitting up there aggressively and shutting down Zhou's farm, and well, since they haven't, he's actually managed to grab 20 creeps, and he's doing alright. And like you said, the SMJ did a great job starting off in the jungle, got those stacks, he's got his levels. He's almost level 5 already, 5 minutes into the game, and given that he's already moved twice, I think twice towards mid lane, he's doing fantastically. So this game going a lot better, I think, for Tongfu, aside from Kabu, who's kind of been sacrificed to the Timbersaw in the offlane.
Well, and you expect that too as an offlane hero. You know, that's not necessarily that big of a problem. So Kabu will find levels at least. I mean, he's not going to die. Pretty Hall is getting the farm, and that's fine. He's okay with getting that farm, obviously, and he wants to be effective with it now. That's the big thing for both of these heroes is, are they going to be effective in ganking? Are they going to roam around, get kills, make room for everyone else on the map? So ForLove now, they've got Yim up in the top lane, still trying to farm away. He actually has 31 last hits, so he has increased quite a bit. He's second farm on of course, in the game right now. The mid lane is, it's going okay. Fan has 22 last hits, 27 for the Storm Spirit. Speaking of that Storm, he's actually back home. He decided to just regen a little bit and maybe go up top, which is where they're going to try to go for a gank on Yim, but he knows this is coming. Shikuchi away, and nice. A lot of time wasted going out for Tongfu, so ForLove playing that very well, and in fact, they have, the rest of the heroes kind of roaming around the map. You see 5400's warding up now, and Stan's actually mid, maybe throwing up a Sentry Ward just in case there's any sort of Vendetta ganks coming through from Kabu, who is level 6, as we talked about already. Nope. Ball Lightning, Impale up. Fan getting pulled in. Glimpse going back in, but the Vendetta damage is there. Kinetic Field, the Frostbite going through. Ball Lightning across the river, grabs the kill for Moo in the end. So, a nice little pick off again on that DK.
Denied!
Yeah. And Zhou, well, Yim manages to force the infest out of him on top lane. Tongfu were a little bit suspicious that there was a lane ward down. Well, I think they plopped that sentry ward down to try and kill Yim earlier, but there's actually a nice ward back by the camp from the Radiant, so Yim's going to be fine to just sit up here on the offlane and get farm. The ForLove support, Stan is still just kind of jungling. They've spent a lot of time sitting behind the Dragon Knight mid, and it hasn't really accomplished a whole lot, so I'd like to see them doing something else with their time, but Yim gets lifted. Is it going to be the double Centaur? Not quite.
There's the time-lapse. The Centaur Khan comes in after the time-lapse, and Yim actually very close to going down. That Test of Faith did quite a bit of damage to him, but he should survive if you're south right up. And another bit of time wasted for Tongfu trying to get that kill. But the same thing goes for the side of ForLove. And they do the smart thing. They notice that they're sitting around mid too long. They want to go for a smoke, and they're going to try to maybe either wrap around on Moo or you know, look for tower bottom. I mean, there is this tower here, and they can try to take it, but they want to get a kill accomplished first and foremost, I feel like. So, Arcanes are done now for the Chen.
Radiant's middle
Everybody
tower
else is
is
just
under
picking up
attack.
boots and trying to get something done here for ForLove, and they're going and wrapping around this tower. Kabu actually has Vendetta, so hopefully they have detection on them, and it looks like they don't. This is actually an issue.
Dire's
They're just going to go
bottom
ahead and
tower
take this
is
tower.
under
They're going to
attack.
pull the creep wave back. Kabu knows this is happening. He can't do much about it. But with the Elder Dragon form being level 6 now,
Dire's structures are
this is the
fortified.
time where they want to try to get things done here, and at least try to grab this tower, it seems. As Kabu is going to Vendetta right now, and I really wish they had some sort of detection here.
Yeah, I think he's threatening for TP's in, but if you look at, and ForLove can also do this, they can just look at Joe top and see that he's on half HP, and he has no TP scroll, so
Dire's bottom
yeah,
tower
threatened
has
it, but
fallen.
wasn't really able to follow up with the threat. Tongfu, the response from them is actually going to be to swing some heroes towards mid, and see if they might be able to bring down this tier 1, but the TP response is immediate from ForLove.
Yeah, and Fan actually trying to go on Moo, but it seems to be the opposite here. Moo doing a lot of work. He'll grab the kill, but Moo, pretty much no mana left. He's going to bottle. Kinetic Field's going to go and keep at least the SMJ, and Sensor Conqueror can't get out of there. Where's the follow-up? Yim, he's here now. Shikuchi Chakram doing work. That'll grab one. Moo taking damage. He's got ball light, and he's going to get back to his tier 1 tower. They're going to instead turn their attention to Shan Shang. Timber Chain in. Now the Chakram, a double kill coming in for Pretty Haw. Now looking for Moo. He's going to get frostbitten. Ball lighting further. Can they get this kill? He's out of mana. The right clicks are there. The Timber Chain Chakram, that'll grab it. Triple kill coming out for the Timber Saw. But we see a buyback from Moo. We want to see if he can get back into this engagement. Look for a kill. He TP'd down there. Pretty Haw got a little bit of mana left. Timber Chain away. He's got no TP. There's the mana burn. Pretty Haw should fall here, but he did accomplish that triple kill, however. So even though he gets that kill, he gets the killing spree gold. I feel like ForLove maybe win that fight just a little bit.
Yeah, I think kills went in their favor. The buyback from Moo is pretty expensive, and Zhou TP'd in, didn't get a kill just because the Crystal Maiden actually managed to deny herself to Roshan. So very nicely played by Stan. It says that he has 3 deaths, but none of them have actually given anything to Tongfu.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a misleading stat line, obviously. And so Stan's been playing okay. You mentioned how he's been sitting around mid a lot. And that smoke did okay down in the bottom lane. Of course, they went mid trying to defend that tower, and they got a couple of kills out of it. So Stan has done, he's gotten a little bit better here as the game has moved on. He'll, of course, keep jungling and try to get to 6, it looks like, with this Hellbear Smasher, and a couple other creeps would obviously get him there. So Yim will get up in the top lane. Shikuchi, that's going to be, or excuse me, Shikuchi was stolen by the Rubik is what I meant to say. And for now, Yim is still working towards that Lincoln Sphere. You mentioned how he might be able to go for BKB, but he forgoes that option and just goes for straight Lincoln Sphere once again in this game.
The Lincolns is still really nice, and I don't think that the BKB necessarily is a strictly better item. If the Nyx Assassin sees the BKB, he can just not go for the Vendetta damage and just impale straight out of Invis, and then there's very little chance that you pop your BKB. And Yim gonna get jumped, lifted, dragged, and die up on top. Zhou for some reason infests into Moo, but just pops straight out to go for the tier 1.
I think he wanted to just make sure that they had enough burst damage to take him down, and oh boy did they. I mean, they killed him at about a second flat. So, nice kill for Tongfu to grab Yim, who's been farming okay. So, to just get him off the map, make sure he's not getting any more last hits. There's a TP now roaming through. That's going to be in the mid lane as Fan was there, but they stop, of course, the TPS. There's a kill in the top lane. That's why it stopped. That's going to be Stan grabbing the kill. So, a 1-for-1 trade. It's a carry for a carry. Nice, I think, for both teams to grab, one of each.
Yeah, I don't know what Joe is up to there. He was underneath the tier 1 tower. They saw the Dragon Knight over on mid, and he was going to TP in to try and threaten that kill, but instead, as he said, he just got interrupted and died underneath the Radiant tier 1. So, while we're pretty much even in terms of kills, if you factor out the 3 Crystal Maiden deaths from the equation, and I guess the big thing is that ForLove are actually getting some objectives down out of this. Not that it's going to take too much effort for Tongfu once they get going to start bringing down some tier 1s. So a very close game at the moment.
Yeah, it really is, and it'll, I think, continue that way for some time. The gold lead and the gold, I haven't seen a graph this close in like forever. I feel like this is just a game that can go either way at this point in time. It really depends on the team fights. There's the Vendetta on Stan. Stan is going to be the first to fall for sure. Now there's going to be a nice Static Storm, only just to be defensive here and push them away. So they only get the Crystal Maiden, but a nice kill nonetheless there.
So, well, Static Storm's on cooldown for a little while. Tongfu can probably pressure in top lane. And in mid, unfortunately, Yim is bot, where he can't really threaten this tier 2. So this could be a big win for Tongfu, and I think ForLove just need to decide to hold one of these towers. Don't try and hold both, and they do manage to get the deny on mid, so nicely played by Fan.
Yeah, they're going to try to push back the top. Pressure coming through. The kinetic field is up. There's no Static Storm like you talked about. Still, there's a Timber Saw, which is really nice to have. They'll use the Hand of God a little bit early, just to make sure they've got a little bit more health. There's going to be the telekinesis into the Impale on Stan. They can't help him out, and he's going to go down, it looks like. So another kill on Stan. This time around, he's actually died a couple times, actually, to the opposing team. Moo's going to go on, of course, Yim here. He's going to have to use his time-lapse. There is that double damage. Shikuchi's going through. They kind of just stood there for a second and stared at each other before backing off. In the mid lane, TP coming through from 2 heroes. That's actually Zhou as well as Kabu. They're maybe looking for the Dragon Knight, but he is going to get away safely. He's going to be going for a first item BKB, which I like a lot, up against this lineup. Kabu's here. He's got Spike Carapace. He's canceling his mana burn animation, as you can see. Haste Rune is going to go for him. He's bottling up now, so he's just trying to make room for it. And now it looks like ForLove, they had a really good early game. They got a couple of kills, but Tongfu is just outplaying them, I think, as of right now. It's a 1,500 gold swing and a 1,000 experience lead for Tongfu right now.
Yeah, I think ForLove mitigated the last little bit about as well as they could. They were definitely going to lose. I think they were definitely going to lose both towers. Unfortunate that Stan ended up dying back to back, but they did manage to get the deny on the mid towers. So I guess stemming the bleeding a little bit there. But both teams just moving really aggressively. 3 or 4 man smokes from both sides, and we'll see who gets caught out here.
It should be pretty high. He's actually Timber Chain. He's actually Rapid Rounding, and I mean, he is going to get ball lighting on the Infest out, the Test of Fate, Sentries on the ground. That's a very, very easy kill. He's down for 10 seconds, however, as he does have his Bloodstone already at 14 minutes into the game, so that is something. Yim is Shikuchi'd up here. They're waiting for the Timber Saw. He'll TP back in if necessary, and then maybe they try to take a fight. There's the Static Storm. Sansheng getting caught out. Moo's silenced up as well. They've got Dragon Tail, maybe Freezing Field. A lot of damage. Moo's still alive, but just barely. The Impale. That stand going down. Glimpse back in. Gets the kill on the Storm Spirit. 5,400 doing a nice job there. Zhou getting Dragon Tail. However, the Tested Faith cleans up the side of course, the Disruptor. Zhou getting chased away. He's going to get sent back home. That trade goes the way of, I think, maybe Tongfu, because they did take Pretty Hall only 10 seconds before that fight broke out. So it's kind of like a 3 for 2 in the end, I feel like. But a TP now coming in. That's going to be Zhou. He wants to fight this. The Rage is up. Elder Dragon form going as well. Pretty Hall impaled up. They don't want to keep fighting here for ForLove. Instead, they just lose that Timber Saw again. He actually commits suicide with the Bloodstone, but now the ball lightning in on Fan. Dragon Tail going. Moo getting breathed fired. Damage is there. Yim with the Shikuchi, not enough damage. Look at the damage coming out on the DK. He's low. Fade grabbing that kill for Sansheng. Yim getting chased down through the trees, trying to Shikuchi his way out of harm's way. Now the Dragon Tail, Spike Carapace stun at 5,400. The Impale coming through as well. And wow, it looks like Yim just time lapses out, but just barely. 5,400. He's still low, but they're not going to go for a dive there. That should be the end of the engagement. And it's tough to keep track with all of these abilities being used and action happening, but still, it looks like we'll see ForLove go down with, I think, 3 heroes in that pass engagement. Maybe make it 4 here as the Impale is going to come through. The right clicks are there. The Infest out from Zhou will clean that Weaver up. Pretty Hall getting chased down, but he is going to get Timber Chained away. So that's another hero going the way of Tongfu, and in the past 2 or 3 minutes, Tongfu have increased their gold lead by a couple thousand.
Yeah, I think ForLove are underestimating just how much killing power Tongfu do actually have, and I guess also underestimating how willing Moo is to buyback. I think that's his 2nd buyback already for this game, but and I'm not even sure if the second one was that worth it. It did help them secure the kill on the Dragon Knight, but Tongfu just keeping up the pressure and pulling ahead in terms of kills for sure. And that fight mid probably should have gone even better for Tongfu. Moo ended up using his ball lightning into the edge of the Static Storm, and then he got bitten there, and that was pretty much the only reason that he died. And Stan gets founded again by Kabu.
Yeah, and you can hear the ownage going from the announcer. That's just how it seemed for Tongfu as of right now. And Sansheng actually stealing Shikuchi. He's able to get out, but you know he's going to get glimpsed back. Hand of God's going to keep him alive to breathe fire. They've got no detection here. Sansheng with Shikuchi should live just fine. Oh, the swarm. He'll be able to dodge that. And, well, no kill there on Sansheng, and instead they only lose 1 hero, and that's going to be Stan on that CM.
Dire's middle tower.
The one thing that is
has
worth
been
keeping in mind is that the Timbersaw hasn't really been able to do anything so far. He's by far the most farmed hero on ForLove, but unfortunately for the fight mid, they found him before the fight started, so he arrived a little bit late. And then for the second fight mid as well, he got caught under the tower and died, or had to commit suicide, and then wasn't ready to back up his team. So I think the situation for ForLove is still better than the last couple of minutes have indicated, but they've definitely lost some ground.
Yeah, they really have. And it's going to be tough to catch that ground up because they do need to get that BKB on the Dragon Knight, which it will be nice, especially if he gets his level 2 Dragon form, and maybe that's when they turn things around, as well as the Lincoln Sphere on the Weaver, because he just needs the red speed now. It's not... I mean, we're talking about like a Lincoln Sphere that the Weaver had in like 16 or 17 minutes in the last game. Now it's sitting at, 18, 19 minutes, and he's still not that close. So they'll have to get this tower to, be super effective in terms of getting back into it, but they'll lose Ro16 in the meantime. There's no way they can really get down there and contest it with, where they are on the map right now.
Yeah, they might be able to go for 2. Fan does have a double damage up, and Tongfu are not a very fast Roshan lineup, so... Yeah, they are going to go for it.
Is under attack.
So they'll just try to trade as much as possible right now, and maybe they TP up after this Rosh is dead. They should have TPs ready and available, and they're going to go to the tier 3s, a couple of them, or at least one right now. It looks like they are just going to let this go. They're okay with letting 2 towers go down so that they can get that Aegis, and ForLove, that does give them a bit of gold, and it's only a little bit though, because you look at it right now, and the 5,000 gold lead is going to Tongfu right now, and it's dipping back up just a little bit, but with the Roshan, that's still golden experience going the way of Tongfu that, that they have to trade for towers. So not bad for Tongfu at all. They'll give the Aegis to, I believe, the Storm Spirit. Yep, it's the Storm. And they've got a lot of items here, and they should be ready to start pushing in whenever they want.
Yeah, and Tongfu just finished a whole bunch of items all at the same time. They've got the Orchid up on Mu, they've got a Blink Dagger on Kabu, they've got the Armlet finished on Zhou, so that's a huge boost in their effectiveness. Meanwhile, ForLove is still waiting for the Lincoln, still waiting for the BKB, and still waiting for the mech. So I think ForLove just need to not take this fight, if at all possible, finish those 3 big items before they consider engaging. I think that's why Yim might be looking to go and split push. Yeah, he's heading up towards the top lane right now. So he's just going to try and buy some space until those 3 items are finished.
Yeah, he actually may force some TPs back because that wave is very close to that tier 3 tower. So they're probably going to have to go back home. They may, try to take this tier 2 tower and send some other heroes back while they take it. But at the same time, maybe they don't want to risk a fight with ForLove, so maybe they just TP everybody back. Actually, Yim is not pushing into, of course, the tier 3 tower, so they're just going to lose this tier 2 for pretty much free right now, as they're not going to try to defend this. In fact, Kabu blinking ahead and spike carapacing just to try to get something done there with a stun or something along those lines. Also, Moo's ready to jump at a moment's notice. He's got the Infest up and ready to go. Speaking of which, Pretty Hawk getting hit up. They do have the kinetic field. They've got the static storm, but that is not going to save the life of the, of course, Timbersaw, so he'll fall down. 20-8 the score now. Tongfu leading. So down for 24 seconds. He's got 2 Bloodstow charges remaining. That is not what you'd like to see coming out from the Timbersaw.
Pretty Hawk had such an amazing time in lane, and his impact on the game since then has been, let's say, below par, and rolling for Mu.
Yeah, and they're just starting to roll right now. They grab another kill. That'll be on the Disruptor. It's getting to be really bad for ForLove right now, and even more so now that Fan is getting caught way out of position. Freezing Field is coming through, but there is a Hand of God already for Tongfu. They actually have to get out of there. They took a bit of damage, especially on Zhou and Mu. Mu does have the Aegis he can afford to go down, but they don't want to let, of course, Zhou go down. They're going to earn him up. He'll TP actually back to the mid lane, push out the tower, push up the wave, excuse me, and then try to go again, maybe down in that bottom lane. So they only do a bit of damage to the tower, but they grab 2 kills in the end.
Yeah, and ForLove, these items need to... maybe they can wait out the Aegis and then try and take a fight, but they're not going to have any big items for a while. Weaver's going to be ages away from his Desolator. Dragon Knight's going to be a very long way away from, I would guess, working towards his AC as his next item, maybe a Heaven's Halberd instead, and the Timbersaw is maybe at this point just considering a Ghost Scepter, given how much hate he's been on the receiving end of. And we're still yet to see Pretty Hawk really participate in a fight. So I still think things are all right for ForLove, but Pretty Hawk needs to be a little bit more careful, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's gotten caught out way too much, especially you saw down in that bottom lane what happened to him. So it's a scenario where you've picked a hero, especially with the first pick, and your effectiveness is right now a two charge Bloodstone and a mech, which he did just finish. So I mean, the Bloodstone's nice to have, but the mech I think is the real item that he wanted. And with ForLove, maybe it keeps them alive a bit longer now. Nyx Assassin goes for Vanguard at 23 minutes, interestingly enough, but they can afford to go these kind of items. They want to keep fighting, they want to keep pushing in, and Vanguard will do just that for the Nyx Assassin. So, ball lighting's going to go again for Moo, trying to fight pretty hard. Caught out of position once more. Can they get him on the kill this time? Moo looks like he will fall. He's got that Aegis. The Elder Dragon form is going to go. Fan trying to do work on Kabu. He's still alive. He's still very tanky again from that Vanguard. Moo trying to go and just do damage here to Fen. No, he's going to ball lighting away now. Open wounds onto Fan. Joe trying to go for the kill. Ball lighting again. Moo with the pull. That's the kill. The glimpse back in, but a little too late there. Tunar down now. Yim's getting chased up onto the high ground. There's the Fade Bolt. Zhou backs off Sansheng as well. They don't want to commit too much to the high ground there. They take the tier 2 tower. They're going to group up, regroup, go down to the bottom lane, push that out real quick, and then probably go for the last tier 2, which is that mid lane tower. And the 4 of them are actually going that way now. Zhou's going to get sent back home. He's about half health, and they're not ready to try to go for another fight here just yet. But by all means, it looks like this should be going to game 3.
Yeah, at this point, Tongfu are, I think, just far enough ahead in terms of being... They're one item ahead, I think, pretty much on each of their core heroes. Great use of the Aegis in that last fight by moves, so ForLove don't even really gain anything out of it, and this is now starting to look a little bit out of their reach. And just another fight where Pretty Haw tanks a whole bunch of spells, dies, and I mean, even there was a nice kinetic field, nice static storm down from 5400. It's just not enough of a deterrent at this point for Tongfu when they have the items that they have.
So we're going to see a smoke up coming out from ForLove. Sorry, I'm running another train of thought. As soon as I saw this smoke, I'm just like, this is interesting. They need, like, this is probably going to be it. If they can get something here, then they'll be back in it. If not, then they might even GG here. And not if they don't get anything, but if they get initiated on, or if they have a team fight that doesn't go their way, I think that they probably GG out in this scenario. And this is why they're doing this smoke gank. They want to try to catch something, anything here. The problem is that Moo is not too far behind. You can see Tongfu, they're grouping up together now. And ForLove don't find anything with the smoke, but they could still try to go deep into the jungle. I don't think they will, even though there aren't any real wards other than this one right here mid. So we'll see what ForLove want to do. They're just sitting in the mid lane right now, but now Tongfu's grouped up together as well. The Gem of True Sight's up on Rubik, so they have a lot of detection, especially up against Yim. And oh, look at this. Mexican
they pinged it.
Standoff. Do they know?
The Rubik pinged it. He suspects. Well, it's too obvious. None of the lanes are... All the lanes are pushed in. They know that they're out here.
Oh, or do they? Because they're just going straight through mid.
Okay, maybe not. I thought Rubik pinged it. Maybe it was Timbersaw pinging himself instead. But I guess they realized, well, they're not at the base. Maybe we'll just go to their base and we'll take a fight on more familiar terms for us.
No, I think
so. They ForLove have to back out.
They wanted to run mid without getting caught out. If that's the case, they smoke up. They run to the tier 2 tower. Maybe that's it. And they just take this down really easily. So I mean, it's a free tier 2 tower again, and not a bad play. I mean, there's still a couple of smoked up heroes here, and I mean, they should know that. Sansheng still has that Elder Dragon form that he stole. That's pretty silly. Moo, he's got an infested up Lifestealer inside of him, and he's ready to jump once more. Maybe looking for Pretty Haw, maybe looking for anybody, really. Infest out, actually, they're going to back off now. Maybe even wait for the next Roshan, which will be in, either, a minute or so, or longer than that. So, we'll see.
Yeah, anywhere between, well, I guess, 10 seconds and 3 minutes at this point. Kabu jumps up onto the cliff. Gonna have to wait around there for a little bit, but I really like the move that ForLove made, but Tongfu once it dragged on a little bit, it got really suspicious, and looks like they'd worked out what's going on. So nicely done by Tongfu. It's gonna be a long-ish Roshan respawn, about 2 minutes out of the 3 possible, but ForLove maybe go for another attempt like that. Oh, 5400, completely caught bottom lane. Just gets popped by the Nyx Assassin and the Rubik.
Yeah, he's too squishy to be able to survive something like that, especially with 2 heroes there. So just an easy kill to take him out of the game for a couple of moments here. So with that, Kyle will grab some more gold and some more experience. He's up to level 14 now with this last hit. Or just kidding, the next last hit. Ball lighting from Ru back across the river. His BKB is done. He's ready to fight whenever. Ro16 will be up in, it's a full duration Ro16 it looks like, or is that?
No, it's 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
so
yeah.
2 dots, 2 minutes. It's just so we're a minute and 15 seconds or so away from it respawning now.
Yeah, and they'll keep their eye on that, and I'm sure once they get that Aegis, then they go for a tier 3. If they get a pick off, maybe they go for a tier 3 in their own right, but I don't think that ForLove is going to venture out too far, except for Yim, who has got a linked sphere, so he's okay, he can survive. And there's nobody up here in the top lane, so he'll push this out, which will force TP's back later on from, oh, you can see actually, wow, they actually do want maybe this kill. They're going to push that ward out. Yeah, Yim knows this is coming. He's got to be very careful, and he's actually leaving right now. There's actually a gem up, I believe, on Moo. There is, so this is, they're going to have to find a way to break that. Interesting. So Yim...
It's like, Yim, what are you doing, buddy? I think they can kill you. But it looks like he's going to be alright.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Kabu's going to run into the entire team of ForLove. He really wanted that kill, but he might die. No, because Moo comes all the way across. Here's a big fight going through. BKB. Now there's going to be the freezing field going for Stan. He's still alive, but not for long. Joe trying to take him down. They can't get him. They're focusing on Pretty Haw. Maybe he's in trouble. Now, Sansheng, he'll die next, but here comes the Fable, cleaning people up. Telekinesis now. GG is called for ForLove. They know they've lost 4 heroes, and we're going to game 3. Well, that's a poor Weaver as well. Just the Weaver to clean everything up there and just make it a tidy, clean 5 for 1 trade there. So Tongfu, they take game number 2. They really needed to. Their backs were against the wall. They say, let's have Moo draft. Let's see what we can get done. They play a really strong early game. They bring that into the later stages of the game, and at 29 minutes in, they take game number 2, and we're headed to game number 3, folks. So, Base Skip, any closing thoughts before we head into game number 3?
No, I think just Tongfu seems a lot more comfortable with their play in the second game, and ForLove, I think there were a couple of poor plays, a couple of poor decisions here and there, but seems like the two teams are very evenly matched, and I'm really looking forward to game 3.
Yeah, me too. So it'll be our last game of the evening, guys. So make sure you guys stick around. We'll have a quick commercial break, real quick, and yeah, we'll be right back. So stick around.